स्वामी केशवानंद राजस्थान कृषि विश्वविद्यालय के राष्ट्रीय वेबिनार स्ट्रेटजी फॉर स्ट्रेंथनिंग एग्रीकल्चर एजुकेशन अंडर चेंजिंग सिनेरियो ऑफ कोविड-19 में सभी प्रतिभागियों का हार्दिक स्वागत एवं अभिनंदन है। प्रोफेसर एन के शर्मा साहब से मैं निवेदन चाहूंगा कि अगर आप परमिट करें तो मैं कार्यक्रम को शुरू करूं।
आप डॉक्टर साहब अपना कार्यक्रम शुरू कीजिए। गुड मॉर्निंग एवरीवन।
जी सर, सभी को गुड मॉर्निंग सर। आज जैसा कि हम स्वामी केशवानंद राजस्थान कृषि विश्वविद्यालय की तरफ से आयोजित राष्ट्रीय उच्च शिक्षा परियोजना में 2 दिवसीय राष्ट्रीय वेबिनार में हिस्सा ले रहे हैं। आज के कार्यक्रम में पधारे सभी गणमान्य, सभी विद्यार्थियों, सभी वैज्ञानिकों और देश भर के 31 राज्य एवं केंद्र शासित प्रदेशों से हमारे कार्यक्रम के लिए ज्वाइन और रजिस्टर्ड हुए 2400 से अधिक प्रतिभागियों का हार्दिक स्वागत एवं अभिनंदन है। आज के कार्यक्रम में जो कार्यक्रम का शुभारंभ है माननीय कुलाधिपति महोदय साहब करेंगे, जो कि कार्यक्रम 11:45 पर होगा। इस कार्यक्रम को शुरुआत करने के लिए सबसे पहले इस कार्यक्रम के बारे में स्वागत उद्घोषण और कार्यक्रम के परिचय के बारे में मैं आमंत्रित करना चाहता हूं प्रोफेसर एन के शर्मा साहब, जो कि राष्ट्रीय उच्चतर शिक्षा परियोजना के पीआई और नोडल अधिकारी आईसीआर हैं। स्वामी के हार्दिक अभिनंदन एवं स्वागत। ओवर टू यू डॉक्टर एन के शर्मा सर।
थैंक यू डॉक्टर व्यास। गुड मॉर्निंग to all. On the behalf of organizing team and on my own behalf, I take this opportunity to welcome all delegates in this 2 days national webinar on strategy for strengthening agricultural education system under changing scenario of COVID-19. I am very happy to inform that total 2,588 participants have been registered to this webinar, and these participants belongs to 31 different states and union territory of the country. I heartily welcome all the participants. We are extremely grateful to our Honorable Chancellor and Governor Rajasthan, Shri Kalraj Mishra ji, for accepting our invitation as chief guest. Honorable Chancellor and Governor of Rajasthan would be joining us at 12 o'clock to deliver the inaugural address. We are really thankful to all eminent speakers of the webinar. We have total 18 eminent speakers, and these are Professor R.P. Singh Sahib, Honorable Vice Chancellor Swami Keshwanand Rajasthan Agricultural University Bikaner, and he is a patron for this webinar also. Dr. R.C. Agrawal Sahib, National Director NHEP and Deputy Director General Education ICAR. Professor N.S. Rathod Sahib, Honorable Vice Chancellor Maharana Pratap University of Agriculture and Technology Udaipur. Professor B.R. Chaudhary Sahib, Honorable Vice Chancellor Agriculture University Jodhpur. Professor J. Sandhu Sahib, Honorable Vice Chancellor SKNAU Jobner. Professor D.C. Joshi Sahib, Honorable Vice Chancellor Agriculture University Kota. Professor Vishnu Sharma Sahib, Honorable Vice Chancellor Rajuvas Bikaner. Professor S. Rajendra Prasad, Honorable Vice Chancellor University of Agricultural Sciences Bangalore. Professor H.D. Charan Sahib, Honorable Vice Chancellor Bikaner Technical University Bikaner. Dr. Lalit K. Pawar Sahib, Honorable Vice Chancellor Rajasthan ILD Skills University Jaipur. Dr. P. Chandrasekhar Sahib, Director General NIAM Jaipur. Professor Alan Harsh Sahib, former Vice Chancellor Agriculture University Jodhpur. Professor H.P. Vyas Sahib, former Vice Chancellor Bikaner Technical University Bikaner. Dr. P.S. Pandey Sahib, Assistant Director General Agricultural Education ICR, Dr. R.V. Sharma Sahib, National Coordinator, NAHEP ICR, Dr. Alka Singh, she is Professor and Head, Agricultural Economics at IRI, New Delhi. Dr. Sudeep Marwa is Professor and Head, Computer Application, ISRI, New Delhi. And the last one is Dr. Jaswant Singh Khichar. He is Controller of Examination, Maharaja Ganga Singh University, Bikaner. Friends, education is just like a root of the plant which is hidden in the soil, but most essential component for providing nourishment and stability to the plant. Development of root system decides the growth and development of the plant. Likewise, peace, prosperity, and sustainable development of the nation depends upon the education standards of the country. Therefore, as a nation, we need to have good academic institutions and infrastructure in the country for career-oriented and value-based education. As an academic institution, we need to have dedicated and committed teachers, career-oriented course curriculum, and learning atmosphere, equipped laboratories, and instructional firm. Good academic institutions also need to have a collaboration and interaction with other academic institutions and corporate sector at national and international levels. As teacher, we have responsibility to guide, motivate, and inspire our students so that they can excel in their field of specialization and can contribute in the growth and development of the nation. In India, we have a very good agricultural education system. ICR is the apex body to take care of quality standards of agricultural education and accreditation of agricultural universities and their course curriculum. Our course curriculum of agricultural education system is quite balanced with theory, practical, and field experiences. Presently, 11 agricultural sectors at graduation level, 97 subsectors at post-graduation level, and 80 subsectors at PhD level are functioning in 75 agricultural universities and deemed universities in India. Under present scenario of corona pandemic, the education system of world has been hampered. Therefore, this is an appropriate time for policy planners, academicians, and thinkers to sit together and come out with the strategy for smooth conduct of teaching, how we can conduct regular classes, how we can conduct practicals, PG and PhD research, student-ready program for graduating students, internship for agribusiness management student, how we can conduct examination, educational tours, exposure visits for students, entrepreneurship-oriented short-term courses and training programs, and faculty development programs. These are some of the issues for policy planners of the country under the present scenario of corona pandemic. I am confident this diversified group of high-class eminent academicians and policy planners would come out with the appropriate strategy to strengthen each and every component of agricultural education system of the country. Once again, I thank our chief guest, Sri Kalraj Mishra ji, Honorable Chancellor and Governor of Rajasthan, all eminent speakers and participants, faculties for accepting our invitation for this national webinar. Friends, we have total 18 eminent speakers in this event, and our first eminent speaker is Professor R.C. Agrawal Sahib. Professor R.C. Agrawal Sahib is National Director, NAHEP, and Deputy Director General Education, ICR. He is looking after agricultural education system of the country. Sir, now I request you to kindly address the participants of the national webinar. Professor Agrawal Sahib, sir.
So thank you, Dr. Sharma.
Thank you, sir. Welcome, sir.
And
Good morning.
good morning to all of you. During this pandemic, during this COVID-19 crisis, which we all are facing, I think it's a great opportunity to meet each other through this virtual mode. So thank you very much. Thanks to your Vice Chancellor, Dr. Singh, and all the esteemed guests who are present here for this. So this is really a great opportunity to be available with here. Can you just hold on?
मैं डॉक्टर आर.सी. अग्रवाल सर से निवेदन करूंगा कि वे अपना माइक अनम्यूट कर लें प्लीज। डॉक्टर आर.सी. अग्रवाल सर से निवेदन है कि वे अपना माइक अनम्यूट कर लें प्लीज। मुझे लगता है सर टेक्निकल रीजन से शायद डॉक्टर आर.सी. अग्रवाल सर का कनेक्शन डिस्कनेक्ट हो गया है, ना हम उनका वीडियो और ना ही ऑडियो देख पा रहे हैं। डॉक्टर आर.सी. अग्रवाल सर, अगर आप हमें सुन रहे हैं तो कृपया अपना ऑडियो अनम्यूट कर लीजिए।
So sorry, I
जी
got
सर,
a call
ओके सर।
from ICR.
जी सर।
So that is another disruption in the technology, that you are always connected. So as friends, I was saying that during this difficult period, one of the important thing which has come to our rescue is the technology. Can you think of a time if the COVID-19 would have come around, say, 20 years back, if there was no internet, if there was no such virtual modes, then how difficult our life would have been? It's unimaginable. Now, sitting at home, we all are able to connect to each other. Sitting at home, we are able to check our mails. We are able to online order anything. So, really, we have to go with the time. And similar kind of thing we have to see in the agriculture also. Think of a time if there could not have been any food sufficiency, there could not have been any kind of dependency on any other country. Okay. So that's really the great contribution of our agricultural scientists, our farmers, our all the extension workers who are working day and night for the benefit of the society. So we have to understand the importance of our agricultural education. We have to motivate the young generations to come forth for educating more and more young minds to get attracted towards the agriculture education. So that's what I will try to just tell some highlights or some important points why education, agriculture education is more important. And as you know, uh, presently or in the times to come, we are going to enter into the fourth generation agriculture revolution. Fourth agriculture revolution. We have already seen the earlier revolutions, agriculture revolutions. We have seen the green revolution. We have seen the intervention of science in this through development of this dwarf varieties, through development of many other varieties, which helped to get us this self-sufficiency in the food, self-sufficiency in milk, self-sufficiency in eggs, animal meat, and many things. So it is all because of this science which has happened. But now, in the times to come, in the fourth agricultural revolution, you will see more and more involvement of science. You will see more and more involvement of artificial intelligence. You will see more and more involvement of robotics, Internet of Things, and many more things, which now we may not think of. And according to one estimate, even it is thought that in times to come, maybe the 65% of the jobs in the next 20 to 30 years, 65% of the jobs will be in the areas which we cannot visualize now. Like if you see 20 years back, nobody thought that the so many jobs will be there in the computer science. So many jobs will be there in biosafety. People were not even thinking that there can be some field like biosafety. There can be something of intellectual property rights. But now these are very common things. Everybody knows. So we have to really go with time, and we have to just see that how best we can educate our young generation to be prepared for the future. Nobody thought, even during the March, that this COVID-19 will have that much severe effect on our economy, not only Indian economy, the global economy I am talking about. So nobody predicted the future. I am saying just 15 days back before this lockdown also nobody predicted this thing. But we were ready to meet any challenge. We have everything sitting at our home, every kind of food item we could get. There was no crisis, nothing. So that means we were prepared. So similarly, our young generation now has to be prepared for the future challenges. And what are those future challenges? We all know what are the future challenges. The future challenges are, we are going to have less resources. Our land is day by day reducing, shrinking for the agriculture purposes. Our availability of water is reducing. So climate change is there, because of which we are facing a lot of problem in agriculture. But the most disturbing thing is that our population is increasing at a very exponential rate. Every 10 years we increase 1 billion. 1 billion, can you imagine? Every 10 years, in 1 decade, we increase now. So that's really a big challenge for which our young minds have to get ready. And they have to prepare for future, that how we will have more from the less for more persons. So that really is the challenge, and that can be achieved through agricultural revolution, through more and more use of science and technology and the latest tools in the agriculture. We cannot depend upon the old kind of traditional way to meet those challenges. So that's really the thing which is now being taught through the agriculture education. But if you talk to any young mind, a students studying in class 10th, 11th, 12th, and if you ask them to opt for the agriculture as the career, So generally, the first thing which goes into their mind is that agriculture means a farmer plowing his field, irrigating his field, or taking a tractor and doing all farm operations. So that's not the thing. That is not only that is not the only agriculture. Agriculture is much more than that. So what is much more than that? Nowadays, if you see, if you are opting for agriculture career, I think you are opting for a work which is more laboratory based, more scientific based. You can have science based innovations in the agriculture. So there are many things which people need to understand. The young generations need to understand that what are those options. Whether you can go for genomics, whether you can go for bioinformatics, whether you can go for uh, aquatic ecologist, whether you can go for becoming a conservationist, whether you can go for plant biologist, or you can become even a landscaper, a very highly paid job. You have seen beautiful landscapes, how those can be done. You can be a plant ecologist, you can be a beekeeper. So there are many kind of things. You can be a intellectual property right expert in international legislations, whatever are there. You can represent the country on behalf of our all 120 crores, more than 130 crores people, and just negotiate on behalf of this if you are well versed with the intellectual property rights or international negotiations. So there are many opportunities, many fields. In animal science, you can be involved in the cloning, okay, very high-tech research. In dairying, you know how high-tech our dairying is. Okay. So you can be engineer in dairying science. So there are a lot of opportunities which I think the young generation, while choosing their career, is not aware of all these things, and they just go for the routine kind of things, that I have to opt for medical science or I have to opt for engineering. So we have to understand the importance of this. There are a lot of career opportunities in agriculture. The only thing is you have to choose the right education at right time, and that's what our agricultural education system is trying to deliver now. So in that, if you see the universities which are there in India, and they have been set up mostly on the land grant pattern. If you remember, it started from the United States of America in 1862, when the President Abraham Lincoln, he granted around 30,000 acre lands to each state for establishing universities and starting this agriculture as one of the subjects. So similarly in India, we started, I think in 1960, the first university was Pantnagar University based on this land grant pattern. So now we have to move from land grant to world grant. We have to really move from STEM, science, technology, engineering and mathematics, to STEAM. So that means we have to insert agriculture in between. So we cannot just base on our country on the STEM. We have to also base on STEAM, agriculture. So that's what now we have to move to meet many challenges. Now, at one side, we are very happy that we are food self-sufficient. We have rather surplus food production now. We have surplus milk production. We have surplus egg production. We have surplus animal meat. So many things are surplus now. But the disturbing thing is, if you see our standing in the World Hunger Index, the world figures I am telling you, then we are at number, our ranking is at number 102 out of 119 countries. Can you believe it? These are the latest figures. 102 out of 119. So that's really a very disturbing figure. So where are our shortcomings? So that means somewhere we have to now do more research. We have to just see that why we are so low, even lower than our neighboring countries in this hunger index. So there may be some problems of wasting, there may be stunting. Okay. Like 20% of Indian children under the age of 5 have lower weight in relation to their height, 33% too short in relation to their age. So that means somewhere the nutrients are not being properly given. So we are self-sufficient in food, but we have to also concentrate on the this nutritional security. So we have to do more and more research and make available such kind of seeds, such kind of technological interventions to the farmers, so that we get more nutritional kind of things out of, whether it's a milk, whether it's a animal protein, or whether it's a food gains, whatever is there. So these are really the challenges. So we have to really focus on that, and that can be achieved only once you have a trained manpower which can really shape your future. Once you have all the young talented minds who devote themselves for the research in agriculture science. So then we can really meet all those challenges. Now, if you see the India, as it was told by Dr. Sharma, that Indian Council of Agricultural Research is the apex body to coordinate and to help the agricultural university system, which we have, I think, 74 in number, out of which we have 4 deemed universities, we have 63 state agricultural universities. So we always have regular consultations with the vice chancellors. We always have regular consultations with deans, and we have regular consultations with our nodal officers, with many other stakeholders, to just mold ourselves according to the requirement of the time. So accordingly, there was a 5th Dean's Committee where the course curricula for UG was revised, and under that 5th Dean's Committee, it was decided that we should have our knowledge intervention, because now it's going to be a knowledge economy. We have to understand the importance of knowledge. So what can we teach the students about the global green economy, whether we can teach the students about the knowledge economy, whether we can teach the students about the global zero hunger challenges, or international year themes, whatever it comes, family farming, sometimes it comes some other aspect. So whatever it comes, so our students should be all aware of the importance of those thematic areas. And then the most importantly, can we teach all the students about the importance of our sustainable development goals? We have to understand what are the sustainable development goals. Yeah. So it is our national obligation to achieve the sustainable development goals, which are 17 in numbers. How much we have achieved, what are our challenges, can we really achieve 100% education for our population by 2030? Can we have the zero hunger by that? So that all we have to understand. We have to see that each and every citizen contributes in achieving those sustainable development goals. So that has to be taught to the students. So that's really very important. And if you see some of the other measures which we have taken to have the right kind of education, to have the quality education, we have many interventions, and the later intervention has been our through National Agricultural Higher Education Project. It's a World Bank funded project, through which now we have around 58 universities which have been funded under this NAHEP, and we are trying that how best we can send students for the best of the best education across the world. On an average, I think we are spending around 8 to 10 lakh rupees on each student. Till date, we have sent around 350 students abroad. But because of this COVID, now there is a sudden break going abroad. And you can get best education once you Also provide the teachers, our teachers who are involved, who are doing this great service to educating the students by getting the best of the best knowledge, latest knowledge. So we are sending the teachers also to the best of the best universities across the world, wherever they can find, and that also has helped a lot to us in achieving our goals. We have started the accreditation, and we are not compromising in providing any type of accreditation. We have certain rules, according to which now we see whether you are following the certain minimum standards which are there prescribed by ICAR. We are ranking the universities. We have started the student ready program, where in the 4th year, the students are having various options to have the practical knowledge. So they are under student ready program, they are deputed to certain villages, they are associated with the villages to know their problems, to assist the farmers, to industry, to experiential learning units, and to many more. And we provide the financial assistance to these students for this. And it's giving a very, till date, I think we have educated more than 70,000 students under the student ready program. So that's really giving a very good result. And the more importantly, we have declared the agriculture education as the professional degree now. It's a professional degree, like your chartered accountant, like your medical, like your other programs, this legal services. So now this agriculture is also a professional degree. So these are some important things, and we are having this All India exam, entrance exam, which now we are doing online, totally online. Everything is online through our National Talent Agency, Testing Agency, NTA. So they will conduct on our behalf all these things. So we have to really move further to meet our global challenges, whatever is there. You see how quantum jump we have made. When we started our first land grant university, there was an intake of just 5,000 students. But today we have more than 45,000 through our this agriculture universities network of states. And we have many private colleges also which are supporting us in taking the students. We have an intake of around 28,000 students for the UG program and 17,500 for the PG and PhD programs. So it's really a great jump, great progress. In undergraduates, we have around 11 subjects. But if you see the figures for the PG programs, you will find there is a PG program in 95 subjects. Now, can students know what are those 90 subjects in which you can do the expertise in agriculture? You have to know, yes, there is a field like economics, there is a field like entomology, there is a field like pathology, there is a field like computer science. So agriculture, physics, botany, so many kind of fields are there. Extension, whatever you want. So in 95 subjects, you can do the PG program. So we have to understand, the students have to understand, and I think through agriculture education, we can achieve the goal of our Prime Minister, Honorable Prime Minister, the economy, the 5 trillion economy, which requires 8% growth in GDP, that can be achieved only through, I think, better talented minds who come to agriculture and making a quantum jump in the agriculture, so that we can have more contributions toward the agriculture with the less investment and with the less resources, as I told in the beginning. We have a lot of fellowships in ICAR, which we give at every level, at undergraduate level, postgraduate level, PhD level. We have many international fellowships for PhD programs, Netaji Subhas fellowships. We have this India Africa fellowship, India Afghanistan fellowships. Recently, we have started from this year BIMTech fellowship. So many new things we are adding every year, and we are now preparing ourselves for the national announcement by our Honorable Prime Minister for Atmanirbhar Bharat Yojana. Now, the next plan which we are going to make for the 5 years, we have to have all those things which are required for Atmanirbhar Bharat Yojana through our agriculture education system, under which we will have the agricultural value chains, we will have valuation of the ecosystem, we will have more focus on the biosecurity, bioenergy, the digital agriculture, artificial intelligence, data science, risk management, and many things which are required in the times to come. And we can just see in the past how our contribution in agriculture has been. If you see the one single variety I am telling you, Pusa Basmati 1121, 1121, and per year the export is about 16,700 crores. 1 year export. So that is the kind of intervention, that is the kind of revolution you can really make by developing many more such varieties. And if you see another variety in wheat, HD 2967, 1/3 of the area is covered by this single variety. 10 million hectare is covered by this single variety. So only sky is the limit if you are really talented, if you can really devote sincerely in this agriculture education. And I think you must convince, you should not just think that, sir, most of the students will ask, sir, there's no job opportunity, what should I do? But you are telling so many things in this. But please be more attentive in any subjects, whatever is liked by you, and you can really touch the sky. I can tell you there are many examples available with us. The only thing is your sincerity, your intelligence, which is required. Recently, I was just reviewing one proposal of agriculture startups, which was sponsored by Ministry of Commerce. And I could see that those 17 startups which came for the award, 5 lakh rupees award, they were all non-agriculturists who left job from US, from Australia, from many countries, and they want to really do best of the best work in the agriculture. Either it's for market intelligence through this computer science, digital agriculture, or organic farming. Okay. So they are learning everything. So the more important thing is what is your intellectual level. You can do anything in any science. You can see many examples by training the Madame Curie. Okay. She got Nobel Prize in 2 subjects. Okay. So it's not that if I am an engineer, I cannot do help in this agriculture, or if you are a chemistry person, you cannot do. You can do help reading any science. The only thing is that how much inclination you have got, and how much you can devote time for that, and you can excel in that particular things. So my congratulations to the team, RAU team, for organizing this wonderful lecture and for giving me this opportunity. And I wish all the students a good luck for their future endeavors. And whatever help you require, whatever suggestions you can make, we will welcome all those suggestions. Please write to us, and I wish you a good luck. Thank you, Dr. Sharma. Thanks to the Vice Chancellor, Dr. Singh, and thanks to everybody who are involved in the organization of this workshop. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for your good wishes and guiding words. You have talked in detail, and you have sensitized the young generation about career opportunities for the students in agricultural science. You have talked about the opportunities for the different technological interventions, and you have talked about the agricultural education system in the country, and the kind of fellowship and help being extended by the ICR agricultural education system to the agricultural universities, SAUs. And you have also talked about the future planning of agriculture Atmanirbhar Bharat Yojana, जो अभी लॉन्च होने जा रही है. एंड बहुत कुछ हम लोगों ने पाया है. हम डेफिशिएंट से सरप्लस हो चुके हैं, और जो हमारा 50 मिलियन मेट्रिक टन जो हमारा फूड ग्रेन था, आज वो 285 हो चुका है. और ये सब हमारे एग्रीकल्चरल साइंस, हमारे आप जैसे विद्वान जो हमारे वैज्ञानिक हैं, उनकी वजह से, हमारे किसान ने जो मेहनत खेतों में की है, हमारे पॉलिसी प्लानर्स ने जो कृषि पर ध्यान दिया है, हम सबके मिलजुल के जो हम लोगों के प्रयास है, उस सब से ये हमारा एग्रीकल्चर का प्रोडक्शन बढ़ा है, देश आत्मनिर्भर हुआ है, और ये देश आगे जाएगा, ऐसी मैं इच्छा रखता हूं. और आपने अपना समय निकाला, बिकॉज ही इज लुकिंग आफ्टर द एग्रीकल्चरल एजुकेशन सिस्टम ऑफ द कंट्री, एंड वी कैन अंडरस्टैंड योर बिजीनेस. सर, यू हैव स्पेयर्ड योर वैल्यूएबल टाइम. वी आर एक्सट्रीमली ग्रेटफुल टू यू, सर. थैंक यू वेरी मच, सर. थैंक यू वेरी मच. And our next speaker is Professor N.S. Rathod Sahib. Professor Rathod Sahib, N.S. Rathod Sahib. Dr. Arvind.
Dr. Sahib.
Dr. Arvind.
Yes, sir.
प्रोफेसर एन एस राठौड़ साहब को.
हाँ जी सर.
प्रोफेसर एन एस राठौड़ साहब को लीजिए.
ठीक है सर, मैं बात करता हूँ अभी.
प्रोफेसर एन एस राठौड़ साहब का नहीं है. राठौड़ साहब का
ईमेल किया, उनको ईमेल से हो जाएगा.
उनको मेल करो ना,
उनको फोन करो सर.
फोन आया था, बोला मुझे अभी कर रहे हैं.
हाँ हाँ, तो वही था ना. एक बार इसको वीडियो बंद कर दो सर. आप सब देख रहे हैं. फोन करो सर. तो एक बार पांडे जी का करा लो, पहले किसका है.
नहीं,
प्रोफेसर एन एस राठौड़ सर हमारे साथ ज्वाइन होते हैं, मैं सभी प्रतिभागियों को बताना चाहता हूँ. आज का जो हमारा कार्यक्रम है, इसका उद्घाटन माननीय कुलाधिपति श्री कलराज मिश्र जी करेंगे. आपका कार्यक्रम 11:45 पर प्रारंभ होगा, जिसमें माननीय कुलाधिपति महोदय ई मैगजीन और इंटीग्रेटेड फार्मिंग सिस्टम के इनॉग्रल के साथ साथ वे मुख्य अतिथि के रूप में अपना उद्बोधन भी हम सबके साथ साझा करेंगे. तो आप सभी प्रतिभागियों का मैं एक बार फिर स्वामी केशवानंद राजस्थान कृषि विश्वविद्यालय परिवार की तरफ से हार्दिक अभिनंदन मैं स्वागत करता हूं. आपको ये जानकर बहुत प्रसन्नता होगी कि हमारे साथ 2400 से अधिक प्रतिभागी इस कार्यक्रम में सम्मिलित हो चुके हैं, जो कि 31 से अधिक राज्य एवं केंद्र शासित प्रदेशों के हैं. यानी यह कार्यक्रम सही मायनों में राष्ट्रीय स्तर का कार्यक्रम है, जिसमें हमने कृषि शिक्षा पर अभी हाल ही में डीडीजी एजुकेशन आईसीआर डॉक्टर आर सी अग्रवाल साहब को सुना. अगले एमिनेंट स्पीकर प्रोफेसर एन एस राठौड़ साहब, वाइस चांसलर एमपीयूआईटी उदयपुर रहेंगे. वे कुछ ही क्षणों में हमारे साथ कार्यक्रम में जुड़ेंगे. इस कार्यक्रम को हमारे पूरे भारत से प्रतिभागी ना सिर्फ जूम मीटिंग ऐप पर, बल्कि वेबएक्स के साथ साथ फेसबुक और यूट्यूब पर भी लाइव देख सकते हैं, जिनके लिंक हमारे चैट बॉक्स के अंदर हमारे टेक्निकल टीम द्वारा हाल ही में शेयर किए जा रहे हैं.
एक बार राठौड़ साहब थोड़ा
क्योंकि प्रोफेसर एनएस राठौड़ साहब को कार्यक्रम में जुड़ने में थोड़ा तकनीकी देरी हो रही है। तब तक मैं आप सभी को बताना चाहूँगा कि इस राष्ट्रीय वेबिनार में 2 दिवसीय प्रोग्राम में हमारे पास कुल 19 विशेषज्ञों और सम्मानित जनों के आख्यान होंगे, जो कि कोविड-19 में राष्ट्रीय स्तर पर कृषि शिक्षा के सुदृढ़ीकरण हेतु रणनीतियों के बारे में चर्चा करेंगे। आज हमारे साथ लगभग 10 से आसपास विशेषज्ञ हैं जो अपने अपने विभिन्न क्षेत्रों के एक्सपर्ट व्यूज और नॉलेज हमारे साथ शेयर करेंगे। इसी क्रम में आज के हमारे तीसरे वक्ता हमारे साथ कुछ क्षणों में हमारे साथ जुड़ने वाले हैं प्रोफेसर एनएस राठौड़ साहब, जो कि ईटीजी एजुकेशन भी रह चुके हैं और अभी हाल ही में एमपीयूएटी उदयपुर के वाइस चांसलर हैं।
राठौड़ साहब को कोई लिंक में प्रॉब्लम आ रही है, आधा मिनट या इस तरह से लगेगा, हो गया। उसके बाद में डॉक्टर पीएस पांडे सर का है।
जी सर। प्रोफेसर एनके शर्मा सर, मैं निवेदन करना चाह रहा हूँ, जब तक हमारे साथ प्रोफेसर एनएस राठौड़ सर जुड़ते हैं, क्योंकि हमारे साथ डॉक्टर पीएस पांडे सर मौजूद हैं, तो क्या हम उनका आख्यान शुरू करवा सकते हैं? प्रोफेसर एनके शर्मा सर। हाँ सर, मैं निवेदन कर रहा था कि
डॉक्टर पीएस पांडे सर।
जी सर।
पीएस पांडे साहब को थोड़ा अनम्यूट करना। गुड मॉर्निंग सर। पांडे सर, गुड मॉर्निंग सर।
गुड मॉर्निंग डॉक्टर साहब, गुड मॉर्निंग, गुड मॉर्निंग।
सर, अभी राठौड़ साहब से कनेक्शन जुड़ने में कुछ प्रॉब्लम आ रही है, तो मैं रिक्वेस्ट टू डिलीवर योर टॉक फर्स्ट।
जरूर जरूर जरूर।
जी सर, जी सर, मोस्ट वेलकम सर।
सो
थैंक यू सर।
Very good morning to everyone. The Honorable Vice Chancellor of SKRAU Bikaner, Dr. R.P. Singh Saab, other Honorable Vice Chancellor of various universities of Rajasthan and former Vice Chancellors, many Dean and Directors of
universities, Dr. N.K. Sharma, all the participants in this program of the webinar. First of all, I would like to compliment Dr. Sharma and the Honorable Vice Chancellor, R.P. Singh Saab, for organizing this kind of program. And people are organizing, many people are organizing this kind of program. The kind of uniqueness, what I could see, the way you have, disseminated this information, and I could see the 718 people at a time going through this webinar, unprecedented rush, unprecedented participation. So I compliment and congratulate. I have been given 30 minutes time, sir. And the topic assigned to me is the entrepreneurship development through experiential learning modules. It's a very, very, dynamic topic, very, very relevant and very, very important topic, to the point and to the actual time when we are passing through this pandemic. If you see the entrepreneurship development, and if you see our economy, India is, our
Excuse me, sir.
majority
May I
of the
request?
economy that is, rural economy based on agriculture. And if you see the kind of employment in agriculture, that most of the people are employed in agriculture sector. I am classifying this employment in two parts. One is from our students who are admitted through our agricultural university, and